Shalom Aleichem, everybody. Today I want to talk about the Garden of Eden, Gan Eden. We see in Shir HaShirim, the Song of Songs, written by King Solomon. King Solomon says, Bati Lagani, I came to my garden. So, the Rebbe comments on this on the Sifa, which actually, in a mimer, which was based on another mimer said by the Frierdiker, the previous Rebbe of Chabad. And it's a very interesting choice of words that King Solomon uses is Bati Lagani, I came to my garden. What does this mean? Why does Hashem say, I came to my garden? He says this because, he says my garden because it shows that when Hashem came down to the world at Matan Torah, and also in regards to the Beis Hamikdash, different periods of times where Hashem revealed himself to the world, he came to his garden, meaning that's the way it was supposed to be all along. Hashem, it's not something new that Hashem is coming to the world. It's rather bringing back what was once here, what was supposed to be here all along, the revelation of God's presence. And a garden, what's interesting about a garden, that Hashem says, I came to the Garden of Eden, is that a garden is a place of enjoyment. A garden is a place where a person goes outside of their house and they go to have pleasure, delight, oineg, a pleasurable experience. So this is alluding to the fact that this whole existence, Hashem revealing himself to us, is supposed to be one of true pleasure. This is the true pleasure for both Hashem and us. And so then, explain more on the Garden of Eden, because I think it's a beautiful, beautiful reality that is very interesting. At least I've always found it very interesting, and I know a lot of people have as well. That the Tzemach Tzedek says in Derech Mitzvah Secha, he comments on the Garden of Eden. He explains what does this mean? The Garden of Eden. What's the garden? What's Eden? Are they the same thing? Are they the same thing? Are they two different parts of a bigger thing? And he says that the garden. So Eden is Chokhmah, is the level of Chokhmah, and the garden is the level of Bina, understanding. As you know, we have different faculties of intellect. We don't just have an intellect. We have different levels. With the Chokhmah is that first level, the light flashes, where you get this idea in your head, but it's not yet defined. Everything is within that idea, but you haven't yet internalized it into all its fine details. So that Chokhmah, the level of the light, which is actually on a higher level, it's coming from a higher source, it's emanating from a higher source, it's coming into existence from a state of nothingness, it's like a fire it's revealing something that was hidden. That's Chokhmah. It's the first revelation of this idea. And then Bina is when you bring it down into intellect, when you grasp it, when you grasp it into all its details. Then there's a level of Das, which is knowledge. When there's two, the Tzemach Tzedek explains there's two levels to knowledge, but basically knowledge is what connects Chokhmah and Bina. And that's the river. That's like there's a verse that says a river flowing out of Eden, meaning that connects that flash of information into all its fine details. That's Das. And Das is also, after you understand it, it connects it then down to the emotions. So Das is two parts to Das, but basically Das is it's taking something and internalizing it downwards and flowing flowing it downwards. So you see this, the Garden of Eden. What does that mean? The garden is understanding, and the Eden, the Chokhmah, is flowing into the garden. It's meaning, this is alluding to the days of Mashiach, because also this is showing what was happening when Adam and Eve were there. There was a tremendous understanding automatically. Nowadays, a person has to dig to find understanding of Hashem. They have to dig in and understand. They'll get it for sure. Hashem's in the Torah. Hashem reveals himself in the Torah. He's in the world. If a person meditates on this, they could reach a level where they're going to get these flashes of wisdom of God, and they're going to internalize it and understand more about God and beautiful, deep content. But it takes work. But in the garden, it's flowing automatically. Imagine if you would be sitting here right now and automatically, boom, without any effort at all, constantly, divine revelation is flashing into your mind, and you're understanding it, and it's going down, and you're feeling it, and you're really internalizing all of it automatically at every moment. That would be, to say the least, that's an incredibly profound experience, to say the least, probably. Yeah. And that is what the Garden of Eden constitutes. It's an automatic internalization of godly revelation. But there's a level that Tzemach Tzedek that says has been saved for the days of Mashiach that hasn't even yet been revealed to Moses and Adam. That's the Eden itself. not Eden flowing into understanding, not this high level flowing down into understanding, but literally your understanding, you will understand the Chokhmah itself. Imagine like when you get that first flash of information, it would flash and then immediately all of its details would be grasped and they would be like automatic. The understanding would, the wisdom itself would shine as it is into the understanding. This is obviously something that I could try to explain with words, but we're all waiting for this to become a reality, and then we'll fully realize what this is. But this is just to give us an idea. There's the tzaddikim are telling us that when Mashiach comes, there's going to be tremendous automatic revelation of God flowing into the world at all times, and we will grasp it, we will understand it. And that's why the Rambam says, when there's a Mashiach, knowledge of God will fill the world like the water fills the sea, cover the world like the water covers the seabed. Just like you see, the seabed, like the floor of the ocean is completely surrounded and filled and covered by the ocean. So too, all of our experience will be covered by godly revelation in that, by way of analogy. So I think it's good to think about the Garden of Eden, think about these ideas, think about what it must have been like and what it's going to be like, God willing, today when Hashem is revealed into the world and there's an automatic, constant revelation of God being internalized. God bless you. May Hashem bless you. Thank you so much for watching.